The idea for today's photo is that I'm gonna take you into this forest. We'll find one composition, photograph it with a wide angle lens, and then Photoshop the hell out of it. Yeah, let's go. You know, I think I just found the composition. The scene behind me, the tree, the roots, and some atmospherics coming from that direction. And maybe if I wait for like half an hour, the light is going to be even prettier. Okay, I think it's the moment of truth. I already have my composition set up over here, and you can see there's a root coming from this corner, and then it's connecting with the tree, and then the tree is going into that corner. I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but that's the composition. ISO 100, aperture is going to be f8. And I have my shutter speed set so that I have 1 1/3 of a stop in the negative, so that I have details here in the highlights. So first of all, I'm going to focus down here on the root, a little bit closer, like so. 1 shot, 2-second delay. There we go. Then I'm going to focus somewhere in the center of the frame on the roots right over here. 2-second delay. And then in the back, like so. Again, 2-second delay, and I'm gonna do a black shot with my hand over the lens because I'm going to use these 3 images in a focus tag so I can find them then in Photoshop. 1 black image before, 1 black image after, and 3 in between. I have about 5 minutes of sunshine left, and well, that means that pretty much the lighting is over, which means that I've done my job. So let's head back to the studio and Photoshop the hell out of this frame. Oh yeah. And here we are in the studio. Now I'm going to import the photographs into Lightroom, choose the photographs that I'm going to use, stack them together, and then go crazy with the edit. I'll be using Lightroom and Photoshop to do the whole thing. So let's just start the recording. These are the photographs from my memory card. I'm just going to choose destination folder and the 25th, which was the day I took this. So import everything. Here we have all the images in Lightroom. As you can see, there's a bunch of them. So I'm going to choose the last 3 because I think the last 3 are going to be just right. Okay, let's bring all of these 3 photographs into one stacking. So I'm going to open up the first photograph, go into my edit, develop, and I'm going to start and play with this as much as I can. Oh my god, it's new. Oh, I haven't updated this. First of all, I'm going to balance. Oh my god, what is this? People range, no, I don't know. Oh, radial gradient. So let's do a little bit of dodging and burning. So this thing right over here is going to be a little bit brighter. See, this is already adding a little bit of that hazing effect. Okay, this looks much better now. So if I can show you before, after, you can see already we have a little bit of atmosphere going. So I'm gonna punch in the next photograph, pre-copy settings from the previous one, and then the next one. I could have just synced everything together and just made the edits in all 3 photographs at the same time. But here they are. Okay, stacked, edit in Photoshop as layers. It's very important that you export everything as layers because we'll be stacking them together, taking only the things that are in focus out of all 3, and then bringing it all in focus. Okay, here we have the 3 layers. One is focused over here, the other one has focus over here, and then the third one somewhere in the back. So I'm gonna select everything, go to edit, blend into stack, give it a second or 2, and then it's going to produce the magical all in focus image. Haha, there we go. So I need to delete all of these 3 and just check if everything is kind of okay. I have a very nice sharp image all the way through, which is what I actually wanted. And now we start creating the magic. Now, first of all, I want to have light coming from this direction, illuminating this area, and then really kind of passing behind the tree and illuminating kind of this area over here. So first of all, what I'm going to do is, well, I'm going to add some sharpening to this. Control J to duplicate, go to overlay, go here to filter, other, and high pass filter. I'm going to go with 0.5 just to add that kind of micro sharpness. Control Shift E to merge all the layers together, and then Control J to copy again. Here what I'll do, I will transform this one into a smart object. Smart objects are cool because you can then return to whatever it is that you're doing. So any filters that you apply to a smart object are editable. They're not like destructive, or once you apply them, you can change them later on. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm going to go here to blur radial blur. With this, I'll be adding light rays and you'll see how this is done really well. So draft, zoom, 100% and go somewhere around here. Now I'll show you what this does. This is going to stretch the layer like this. So it looks like everything is coming from a single point, but I want this point to be out of the frame, which means that I'm going to have to crop the image quite a lot. Now, because we applied this filter into a smart object, everything gets updated and I can then double click the radial blur, make it a little bit lower and have the light coming from somewhere over here. But now if I crop everything back to the original size, the effect is going to update, bringing that point to the edge of the frame like it was before, which means that I have to rasterize this layer. And now if I crop the image like this, the light rays stay outside of the frame. Now I'm going to go to screen. This kind of adds the rays on top. As you can see, we have a result right over here starting to look kind of fine. If I double click on this layer over here at the right side, go to my blending options, I've chosen screen. I can then hold Alt and click on this one to kind of tone down the effect in the dark areas, basically making everything a little bit more contrasty, like this. Okay, this looks nice. But now the light rays are stretching throughout the whole frame, which I don't want. I want them to be coming from the backside, kind of hugging this tree over here around, which means that I'm going to have to mask everything out. Alt and click the mask on this layer. Now I have a black mask, which means that nothing is being shown. But if I go to my brush, I press the B, I select a nice soft round brush, Alt, right click, drag left or right, make it up and down sharper like this, actually less sharp. Go choose a white color and then paint on this mask 10% of flow. So now I just add these light rays where I want them to be. So I want them to be over here. And then if I press X, it's going to invert the color and I can take away the effect wherever I don't want it. So definitely not here, definitely not on the tree. Without the light rays, with the light rays. Now I can enhance this a lot if I just duplicate the layer. So let's duplicate the whole layer. Control J, select both of these layers, right click and then group from layers. Okay, I'm going to name this Ambi, like ambient light. Now this may seem a little bit strong, but if I add a mask to this group like this, I can then take away some of the effect in the selected areas. Again, a nice soft brush, black color, and just paint the things where I don't want them to be, like this. And now I can turn down the opacity of this whole effect to about 50, maybe like 80%. Okay, I think this looks nice. Now I can Control, Shift, Alt and E to merge all the visible layers underneath. So the layers underneath are still here, but I have everything merged together into a new layer. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm going to play around with the colors. What I like to do is to go to Auto Tone, Auto Contrast and Auto Color. This kind of white balances everything a little bit better, but I'm just going to use maybe 10% or maybe 20% of this effect like this. This adds just a little bit more kind of natural looking colors to the whole effect. Let's go 10%, Alt, Control and E to merge everything together into a new layer, this time adding the softening effect or the Orton effect as it's known. I'll show you how this is done. So I choose the overlay as my blending mode. I'm gonna go with 20%, but I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur and add here about 40 pixels of radius. So this is going to add a nice kind of softening effect. So before, after. And I can just increase this. If I go to 30%, you can see that everything starts to become softer. Now it also becomes much more contrasty, which means that before this layer, what I typically do is I add a brightness and contrast. So I just tone down the contrast like this before and then add this effect. So let me show you. If I group everything together into a new group, I'll call this Orton. And if I take it away, off, on. Oh yeah, much more softer. And I can tone the whole effect down by just punching in 80%. I'm going to add a vibrance layer on top of this. For the final touches, I will add a curves layer. Okay, so this is how I add atmospherics to my woodland photographs and pretty much any photographs that require or just make the whole photograph look better. I've also showed you how you can add this Orton effect, which makes everything a little bit soft, which is especially good for landscape photos and woodland photography. At least that's how I find it. So please consider subscribing to the channel, hit the like button if you found this video interesting, because this helps YouTube to promote the video a little bit more. And well, thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below. I will see you guys and girls in the next video. Bye bye.